Hello, everyone. My name is Sandi Bitenc. I'm the CEO of 3R. The majority of time, my focus is on creating token use cases, and I'm specializing also in tokenomics. But I'm running this 3R as a CEO now for 2 years, and we're doing work in Africa, and this is probably what I'm speaking to you right now here. And I'll speak to you a bit about transforming traditional businesses with blockchain, so Web3 and how it can help Africa and developing countries actually develop faster and further. And I'll try to explain this in a way how we actually did it. Because we integrated quite a lot of things with blockchain. And we are a mix of a traditional telecom and a blockchain. So I like to start with this quote that Jordan Peterson actually stated not so long ago on his talk on Bitcoin. There might be no natural resource other than trust. And if you think about it, trust is really the cornerstone not only of business, but of the society itself. So if we focus on businesses, whatever we do requires some trust. So because it's always some interaction with some other entity. We're never interacting with ourselves. That's for sure not business, right? So blockchain, in a sense, can reduce this need for trust. Although maybe this statement is not really 100% correct because it doesn't reduce. We still need the same amount of trust. It just off-shifts it a bit more to the code. Because blockchain is kind of integrating the trust in the code. And if you can read the code, you can always know what the outcome will be, because how blockchain is actually designed is so that the code cannot be changed and the outcome will always be the same if the inputs are the same. And what we can do with blockchain is we can enable verifiable and privacy-enabled information sharing. So in that sense, if I'm sharing some information with you, because it's on the blockchain, you can rest assured that it's true, that it's not being changed, that it's never been changed, and it never will be changed. In a sense, blockchain is a public ledger that cannot be changed. The problem we have then is actually also with privacy. So with privacy, if we store everything on-chain, then our private information are always available. And there are also some ways around it. We can use something like zero-knowledge proofs, or we just store information still partly off-chain, and then have only the things that we need to verify that the data is there on-chain. It also enables ownership of digitized assets, and this creates then a whole new layer of businesses. So we can now start to monetize our digital information. The problem before was whenever you sent some digital information to the other side, it became worthless. Once somebody saw it, it became worthless. And you can never prove that this is actually that you're owning this. And this is, it's not only about the tokens, and the tokenization is about NFTs and so on. And then also we have governance and other model-making decisions that are, slowly creeping into the businesses themselves. So our ecosystem, how it is designed is we start with providing internet. Then we give users a digital identity. We give them a wallet. Then we give them options for do some financial transactions. So we give them the tools to do financial transactions, and we also enable them in providing some digital revenue. So that's actually the thing that's transformational, the whole process. And of course, it's accompanied by continued education. So what we've done is we've changed the business model of traditional telecoms. We're not only focused on the revenue that's being generated by selling internet. We had made changes in authentication and authorization, so we put that part on the blockchain. We made changes, of course, in the payment solutions. That was the first thing that Bitcoin started to allow, and of course with all the stable coins, it's even going far further. And this is something that's for sure really enabling for the emerging economies, because they usually don't have really good payment solutions in place there. The traditional banking is not really doing a good job, right? If we think about El Salvador right now, more people have a wallet, a crypto wallet, than they have bank accounts in El Salvador, and it happened in a really short amount of time. In less than a year, they did more than traditional banking may happen in more than a decade. So payment solutions are for sure something to look forward and are enabling for the emerging economies. We made some changes to the infrastructure model, and I'll talk a bit more later on. And also we made changes in the governance model, how our business is actually operated in. And our challenges, because we're operating in Africa, in the emerging markets, have been at first twofold. We started as a traditional telco, and of course we had problems because people were actually lining up to pay with cash every time. So you have a subscription-based business where you need to take in payment each month, and then it's really hard to scale a business if you need to serve each and every client every month and take cash from them. And also authentication is also a problem. So what started happening is that not everyone has an identity there, not identity card. So they were coming into our offices with handwritten cards, and that was kind of proof who they are. And we know that that's it's hard to identify people in that sense. So this is also when we started thinking about going into Web3. And the question was how to actually bank the unbanked. And if you think about it, there's so much talk about how to bank the unbanked, because that's actually one of the major things that we want to solve with crypto and blockchain, is how do you bank with crypto somebody who doesn't have an internet connection? Is it possible? Probably not. You cannot use blockchain or crypto if you don't have internet. And there's a huge overlap of people that don't have bank accounts and that also don't have an internet connection. So somebody needs to solve that if you want to bank the unbanked. And the other one is, how do you onboard somebody to crypto without a credit card or without a bank account? Because if they have a bank account or a credit card, they're already banked. So then you cannot state that they're unconnected or that they're unbanked, right? So these are the two things that we started thinking about. And we'll not talk about this. This is how we are doing our proprietary thing in regards to banking, or in regards to connecting people. But yeah, of course, so the first thing that you need to solve is to give them a good internet connection. And how do you solve the second part? That's actually the paradox of banking people, bringing them on into the crypto space without having a bank account. So you need to be able to take in cash. And how do you do that is by building out a peer-to-peer infrastructure of people that can take in cash and give back crypto, and vice versa. So this is something that's happening right now in Africa. There are some projects that are really doing this on a really large scale. We did a lot of stuff with digital identities, and I will not go deep into that, but digital identities are a really important part of enabling anything in Web3 and in any economy, to be honest. So just think about it. If you don't have an identity, you cannot own your car, you cannot own your house, you cannot get a bank account, you cannot get a loan. So this is why we actually need identities. It's not about only showing your ID to a policeman that's stopping you. And what are the potential of digital identities? So digital identities, you need to think about them a bit broader than just your regular ID. Digital identities can store far more data. And what they can do in the emerging economies, they can start tracking data financial data, and you can start then later on calculating, for instance, credit scores with people. And the credit scores right now won't be connected only to your financial transactions. They'll also be connected to your social interactions. Because what it's shown is that people that have stronger social connections are also the ones that are going to be more probable to repay a loan. And this is where we can start thinking about how to provide loans in DeFi that are a bit under-collateralized or uncollateralized. And whoever solves this is going to for sure enable a huge expansion in emerging economies, because this is what they actually need. And I'll actually stop here because my time is over. But if you're interested, we have a booth downstairs. You can come and talk to me, and I'll gladly answer a bit more of your questions. Thank you.